Hello everyone and welcome back. This is another episode of Bitcoin Trade here, and a little bit of news, a little bit of trade, chart analysis. So let's go over some of the news here. Let me start off with this here, CoinDesk, and get a lot of good news here. Notably, let me see, what's the first thing I want to talk about? Okay, so I'm going through the news, and this is amazing. This particular article right there, this is amazing. I mean, uh, Silk Road 2.0. If you haven't read this article, it's a great article. These people are, how can I say this? They got their Bitcoin stolen, right? But to keep business going and to keep their customers happy, they somehow manage to not pay themselves the commissions or fees that they make for the site. They're paying back to, I guess, their users who lost bitcoins in the stolen bitcoins and everything. So this is kind of interesting. If they can do this and they can make it work, why can't, and this leads to my other thing about it, is why can't it work for Mt. Gox? You know, if they did the same thing, and if you read this article, you'll know what's going on is they want to resurrect Mt. Gox with new management, and some of that money that they generate will go to quote-unquote creditors. If it works out, that'd be great. I don't know if that's gonna help me in any way. If it does, that's awesome. But it's a long shot. But the weird thing is, if these people have figured out a way to do it, why can't these people do it as well? I mean, if you ask me, this is a perfect example, a perfect business model, and it's amazing. I have to say, you know, it's kind of interesting that even though this is not a legitimate site or activity, that the ideas you can get from this can be used in other applications, like a bank bailout. Instead of a bank being bailed out, the money that they make should be, instead of going to CEOs or just overpaid executives, the money should have gone back to, the account holders, right? I think that's what should have really happened with the financial crisis. Money that was made should have gone back to the account holders instead of luxury vacations or business trips and etc. and all that. So, I may not agree with what these guys are doing as far as an activity that they're doing, but their unique approach to recover losses to their users is pretty interesting. So read the article. It's actually very interesting. If they can do it, why can't Mt. Gox do it? That's kind of my point here on this. Something else here. Let me see. I don't know what this is, but apparently, well, I'll get to that later in a different section here. Oh, here's another one. Looks like the U.S. Election Commission has delayed their decision on Bitcoin campaign contributions. So looks like they're holding off a little bit. Maybe they need to rethink. Supposedly it's positive or support of it. I think I mentioned some of the things you can do, or you might do. It's good to see CoinDesk actually make a report on it. So if you see my other episodes, you would already know, and you already have some information on this, and you would kind of have an idea what's in there. A lot of things they talk about in this article barely scratch the surface of what what was in that report or in the guidelines. So if you have a chance to download the guidelines or watch my previous episodes on this, you should, especially if you want to create a pack. And I'm seriously considering making a pack. That's on my radar. It really is. And here's the crazy thing. If you are a person, you can create a pack. I mean, you should be able to create a pack. So, and you know what's funny is, you need a bank account to create a pack. So if a bank tells you no, they don't want to create a pack because you're, I don't know, using Bitcoins. Well, maybe they can't do that. They're going to have to let you open an account. I don't know what implications that would mean for the banks. I mean, freedom of expression is, in America anyways, is in the I believe it's in the Constitution somewhere. It's been a long time since I've read the Constitution, but I'm pretty sure it's in there. So we'll see what happens. And then yeah, of course this. Oh man, if that's possible, they can. Now, when they say the creditors, I'm not sure if they mean like other people than the users who lost their bitcoins on the exchange, but hopefully that this would include some of the people who are trading on there, who had their bitcoins stolen. So, and oh, the eGifter, this is amazing. I mean, I think these guys are really innovative, as well as the Gyft.com and eGifter. I'm using more and more of these guys as it becomes available. It's a shame that Walmart won't participate in this, but that's their decision. And well, yeah, and this is an interesting idea. I think it's a great idea. I had a similar idea, except instead of satellites, I was really considering making a spaceship, like not a space station, not anything like that. I mean, I'm talking about like a spaceship, like Enterprise kind of spaceship, but sometimes I have to come back to Earth once in a while, but there's nothing wrong with dreaming, And I'm not talking about like the space station right now in outer space where people are floating around. I'm talking about like, I was considering like Enterprise kind of stuff, like gravity. They have gravity on there, and you could take a shower and all that stuff. But nothing wrong with dreaming. So that's that on the news. And oh yeah, this one I wanted to show in particular. U.S. state bank supervisors to discuss Bitcoin at public hearing. So apparently there's some, I believe it says here 9 bank supervisors, regulators, or whatever. They're gonna talk about Bitcoin. I don't know what they're planning, but so far it seems positive, kinda, I guess. They did mention here in this section right here, as such, the CSBS, sounds kind of funny to say that, the CSBS, does not have an influence on policies such as those put forth by New York and Texas regarding digital currencies. I have to admit, um, I'm telling you, Texas is the place to be, in my opinion, if you're investing in any cryptocurrencies. And if you don't know why, go back to some of my episodes. I talked about this, but if I was gonna do anything, I'd do it in Texas. Um, and I think I pretty much have done it in Texas because I am in Texas. Maybe one day I'll come out to New York. Maybe, I'm not sure. But just want to bring that up on the news. So if anybody hasn't read any of this, they should. It's really good stuff. And then I'm looking for you always got to stay on top of news. Things seems to change quite a bit. And here's another. There's a website right there. If y'all want to take a look at that. And just another place to get some news on cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin and everything. And here's one right here. Atlas ATS finds loophole in FinCEN requirement partner with NSX, which is National Stock Exchange. Now, I don't know what the loophole is, if they can even call it a loophole, because I was like, okay, what loophole is this? I mean, can I get involved in this somehow? And kind of yes, kind of no. I mean, but this NSX, which is National Stock Exchange, according to the article, it says these people here, or this exchange, is self-regulated, and I guess it is, but at the same time, they are also regulated by the SEC. So, and they, follow the rules, and then what they do is then they regulate within whatever platform or whatever they're doing on there. So I don't know if it's a loophole because you're still following some rules, some guidelines. I think just because you're in here, you don't have to register as a money business service or a money transmission service, but you're still following rules and guidelines. So not sure. I guess the loophole is that you don't have to register yourself as a money transmission business because you're a third party acting on behalf of another. Well, there's another way you don't have to register, and that's just become an investor. So, that's the biggest loophole that I know of. This loophole, I don't know if you can call it a loophole, but I guess you can. But they still have to follow some rules, their rules, but they also are regulated by the SEC. So I guess it's a loophole. Not sure, but here's another article here, and since we're on campaign donations and all that, U.S. presidential election 2016, which is, if you really think about it, for a presidential election, that's really around the corner. But let me see, Darrell W. Perry accepts Bitcoin, and he's apparently not going to accept any fiat currency. It's either going to be Bitcoin. Let me see here. Bitcoin, Litecoin, silver, gold, copper. I'm surprised he didn't put platinum on there, but you know, but copper. I mean, if you want to donate copper, I mean, copper is available everywhere. wires are made of copper. It's not uncommon to go to a scrapyard and see a lot of copper. So anybody who owns any scrapyards, or you're in the recycling, especially metal recycling, you can donate your copper straight to this guy. Just put it on a truck, 40 foot or 42 foot, whatever. Um, you know, I think gross weight, or net weight for, you can put into a truck is about 20 tons. So 20 tons of copper you could just ship over to this guy. I don't know what he's going to do with 20 tons of copper, but it's possible. I don't know about gold and silver or anything. Those are more precious. This is more commercial. Um, but yeah, he's going to run on this platform. So, but I think it's interesting. A lot of, if you read here's the article right there, if you want to see it or read it. But a lot of things that he's talking about, I mean, it does resonate a lot with, I think, a lot of Bitcoin users. For example, basically he wants to get rid of legal tender laws and the monopoly of the Federal Reserve. He wants to get rid of the IRS. He wants the IRS. I support abolishing IRS and all taxes related to income. The federal government should once again be funded as it was from 1789 until 1913 by tariffs and excise tax. That idea's kind of been floating around for a while, especially since the financial crisis. But the thing is, in my opinion, okay, this is my opinion. I don't know this guy. I never met this guy. But to command an army the size of the United States of America, it takes a lot of money, and you can't get that money from just tariffs and excise tax. You're gonna have to get it from the people, because well, those planes cost billions and billions of dollars. So sometimes I think a lot of people take for granted the freedoms that you do have. I mean, it seems like they're being eroded because I think we have a lot of it, maybe too much of it in some cases. But if you've been reading some of the stuff I've talked about China, and I'm not saying China's bad or anything, but if you want to feel what it feels like to have no freedom, I don't know, defect to China and see what it's like, or go to some place where literally there is no freedom. When you come back, you'll feel like a free man. I guarantee you that. So, anyways, but that's just my opinion. I mean, commanding an army, raising an army, costs a lot of money, and I have to admit there's some truth to the saying, freedom isn't free. It's not. You pay for it. We all pay for it. We may not sometimes like it, but we all pay for it somehow. So that's just a quick synopsis on the news here. Hopefully that'll keeps you informed. I know a lot of things are going on and changing everything. So let's go to a chart analysis here. So, all right. So this is Bitstamp. There you go, Bitstamp. On one day, I'm just pulling way back, and you can see that this is these 2 points has pretty much dictated everything so far. This is the resistance line. You don't see any candlesticks over here because, well, the price can't be pushed up beyond this resistance. But here you're gonna see a little bit of it, and now I'm gonna zoom in here on just 6 hours. and you kind of get a better look at what's going on. And it's definitely broken through, and it's come back down, and then it's going back up, and then it's what's interesting is, and you'll see this in some of the other chart analysis here, is that it's bouncing off of this resistance line, which I hope is a good sign, because it may be a potential to break through. But at the same time, I did tell you that it was going to range around here, and it looks like that it is what it's doing. The 2 average, and this is just a simple average, I believe, has already starting to cross. You can see right here on the 6 hour. And so if you look at the 6 hour, I mean, it's been pretty obvious, I guess, on the 6 hour that if it doesn't cross, if it's crossing up, it's going to go up, and when it crosses down, it goes down. On the longer term, on the 6 hour period, the simple average here really shows the trend, and you've seen an uptrend, but watch out for this. Looks like it's turning over, and it may just slowly just follow this resistance, just bouncing off of it until something happens. But with a lot of investors coming in, I mean, there's real investors coming in, pouring real invested money. You may see a good uptrend, a possible good uptrend to the upside. Then again, just because I say that doesn't mean it's going to happen. And then here's the chart analysis of BTC. And with BTC, it's a little different, because here's the resistance line, which is nowhere near, but now I have to use a different set of lines, which is from this point to this point, and then we're kind of seeing that trend here. And with this trend line, it's definitely showing a breakout and then staying within this range. And so let's take a look at a 6 hour to get an idea. So if you look at it, I mean, it's gone up, hits this range, this resistance here is just a simple range, and then comes back down, bounces off of this resistance that it broke out of, and this going sideways now. And then you could almost see that it's almost turning over here too on the 2 average. So it's hard to say, but I really think it's just going to range for a while until some more clarification on guidelines, more clarification on taxing. You're probably going to see a lot of these things being challenged in some degree, the guidelines as well as taxing, and based on that, the price will probably react to it. So right now it's just right in the middle between these 2 points. It looks like it doesn't know what to do. Hopefully it'll go up. So, but let's have a look here at Bitfin, which is completely different now. This is more working on a fan, but you could see that it's pretty much doing the same thing. And believe it or not, this bottom line is actually the resistance. Everything else is just a pivot off of here and then here to here. So that top line is from here to here. This middle line is from here to here. So this line that you're seeing from the top to here is actually the bottom line, and so it's clearly showing that it's broken out of this. But like I said, it might range here for a while, which I did mention that. But I also mentioned 420 be a really good spot to buy. If you were a little bit lower than that, that's great. So anyways, let me zoom in here just for you guys so you can see, and you can see how it reacted to the fans here, the lines. Breaks out, takes a rest, breaks out, takes a rest, breaks out one more time before it almost reaches the top here, and then just bounces off of this, and it's just bouncing. Looks like it's just bouncing. It may, and you see this is turning over as well on the 6 hour, the two averages, the 10 period and the 25 period, and you know, all the exchanges say different things, but as a whole, you know, you should get a really good idea where the price is going to be. It looks like it's turning over, but turning over going down, but you never know, because as soon as you think that this thing's turning over down, it's just going to break out again probably and just stop right here, and then this will be it'll skirt this top line here, and then hopefully it'll break out again. I'm hoping, because I wouldn't mind seeing the price go up. But let's take a look at one more, and that's Coinbase, and here it is on a daily but limited, based on that pivot in this here, and where else, here, and then here. So this from here, this is from here to there, this is going all the way down to here. And look how it, I mean, it almost reacts in the same way as it stops at this here, this line here, and then comes down. So when I see two lines going this way, that's usually an indication of a range versus lines going down or lines going up. So it actually turns out to be doing that, ranging from here to going down. It may even go all the way down to here and then push back up. It may range for a while, it seems like, but usually that's a transition from, when I see things range, it's usually a transition from a very high peak to or a very low peak, and we're coming off a low here, so it could be just a range here as things get repositioned. Traders are making their sell or buy orders, they're putting their limits and stops in all these different places. Oh yeah, I did want to mention one thing, what Bitfin does, which I think is kind of interesting, that maybe some traders want to look into. You don't have to do the margin trading, you can actually just trade like you've been trading. The only difference is you can actually put in a stop on your sells, so when it goes, for example, you could put a stop below where the current price is, instead of waiting around to make that trade. And the same thing on the I guess what they call them, limits. Your stop sells and your stop buys. Stop buys any price above the current price, and so on a breakout you could, and here's another strategy you could use, and I'll give you an example. This is on a 6 hour, but let me see if I could bring my mouse in here. Here it is, cursor. So usually what some people do is they'll put a stop sell, which is basically a buy, but basically they'll put a buy order at the last highest price of this upward trend. So like, for example, this is going down and then it hits up, so you would put a buy order in here, and unfortunately on a downtrend that's a really bad strategy. Or it could be a bad strategy, but if you do it right, you know, if you started kind of doing this at this price level and just waited, then your stop sell order, I believe that's, no, it's a stop buy order. So anything above the current price would be a stop buy order, versus being below the current price, which would be a limit buy order. So one of the things that I've seen people do, or a good strategy on trading, is put your stop buy orders, which means any a buy order above the price at the last highest point, and then just wait for the next highest point after a downtrend. So like this is going down, for example, and then this pops up. Well, your original order is up here, so when you see this spike up and then fall down again, you can put your another order or cancel this order up here, or you can keep it, whichever you want to do, and then right here at this price level you can put another stop buy order. But you can only do that with Bitfin. That's what I'm trying to get at. The other exchanges don't quite have that function. So if you did that, your order would have never been executed, and then you get to a certain point where you're just following. Then it would be right here would be the next one, and then eventually this would be it right here, and then eventually this would have been where you put your stop buy orders here, and then as soon as that happened, this breakout. So this is a breakout strategy, basically, by putting an order at the highest, last highest point. That way you're not buying on a downtrend. You're just waiting for the breakout. You're just waiting for the breakout. So you put your buy orders in here, your stop buy order, 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 and then finally when it breaks out, you've already put your you already bought some Bitcoins here to enjoy in the breakout and the momentum that's going on top. So that's another way of doing something, just to let you know. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this episode. Feel free to comment, like, dislike, or even do a video response. Until next time. Oh yeah, did I talk about Coinbase? I guess I did. Anyways, until next time, bye.